So, how should I start this? I can't even. Welcome, my dear viewers. I'm Chocobirb, that's Advocate, and we're going to explore the wonderful and insanely painful language that is Romanian. So without further ado, let's get on with it. When I met my husband for the first time, I was intrigued by his language. I had never known that Romanian was of Latin origin or related to Italian, French, Portuguese, those fancy-sounding Romance languages, you know? Upon moving to Romania, I tried immersing myself as an English speaker as much as possible, being told that the language was one of the easiest to learn. Oh, how misled I was. I was super optimistic about learning this interesting and magically mysterious-sounding language, only to fall into the pit of despair when coming face to face with noun genders, verb conjugation, cases, the cursed words that is this, that, or of this, or of that. Oh Lord help me, my Germanic roots are struggling to survive this.
Aren't you being overdramatic? If you just get over your fear of speaking, you'll...
Don't even mention trying to speak. It's bad enough that I sound horrifically brain damaged when I attempt to write or read and understand, never mind speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak 2 languages, and from my experience so far in Romania, learning this language is far from easy. Pronouncing the words are simple enough, and writing them is just as simple, since it follows the Latin alphabet with a few extra special letters. But then we get to the first headache that haunts you. Genders. Yes, the language boasts 3 genders when classifying your nouns, this being masculine, feminine, and neuter. Knowing which gender your noun is will significantly boost your ability to make the rest of the sentence. In fact, it's crucial, otherwise you'll be blabbing words that'll make a 3-year-old sound more intelligent than you. In order to tell when a noun is masculine, feminine, or neuter, you will need to learn the markers that come with them. An example would be when using articles like an and a. In Romanian, this becomes un and o. Generally speaking, un is used with masculine nouns, and o is used with feminine. What about neuter? We'll get to that. First off, if your noun ends in a consonant, you get an un, like hotel, un hotel. Easy, right?
Hotel is in Romanian.
Okay, let's try a less known word then. Copil, which means child. Un copil, a child. There, simple. The same occurs with feminine nouns. Instead of un, we go o. Nouns that end in a vowel will get an o. So, we have the word camera, room. O camera, a room. Simple. But it's good to remember that there are several nouns ending in e. You know, a vowel that belong to the masculine group. Isn't that neat? For instance, this word, cuina. You'd think o cuina, right? Wrong. It's un cuina. Why? 'Cause you, that's why. As for neuter nouns, they follow the rules of masculine for the singular form. And speaking of singular, plurals! Who doesn't love to double their trouble? To make it super simple, most of the time masculine nouns will take an added ik to their ending. Like un Român, a Romanian, and 2 Romanians will be doi Român. That is also simple enough. Now for feminine. They can take on the endings, yes, they have more than one. E or I, like o sticla. A bottle will be două sticle, 2 bottles, or o bere, a beer, două bere. You'll also notice that adjectives will change their form depending on if the noun is masculine, feminine, or neuter. Like with doi and două. Doi is masculine and două is feminine. Next we have neuter. Neuter takes the endings of e and uri. Un taxi, A taxi becomes doa taksuri, or un bilet, a ticket, becomes doa bilete. Here's a fun fact to remember. Neuter nouns will take on the feminine forms when they are plural. So in singular, it's masculine. In plural, feminine. Isn't that just neat? Let's just say I wish it was neat. By the way, there's a whole lot more on plurals to study, but you guys get the basics. Let's go to something more interesting. Verb conjugations. Unlike in English, Romanian uses conjugations. Whereas we would say, I do, you do, he, she does. Romanian has different ways of saying do, depending who is doing. In this example, let's take the word to have. So in English, it's I have, you have, etc. In Romanian, it is eu am, to I, el, ea, are. See the difference? When conjugating, you're basically letting someone know who does what by changing the form of the verb. How to conjugate the different verbs? Well, the endings, of course. I'm seeing a pattern here with endings. So you have 4 main types or groups of verbs. In this case, they all follow a pattern based on the ending. They are the groups ending in a, the most common. The second type ending in ia. E is the third, and the last, I. Also, like in English, there are irregular verbs which follow no pattern whatsoever and have to be memorized as is. So if you have a list of them, there's no way around it. You need to lock in and cram them in. I still don't know them by heart, by the way. If verbs aren't bad enough as it is, there's a whole list of different forms in the past tense, the future tense, and whatever the hell this is. As you can see, in order to progress in this language, it's going to be a lot of studying. Oh, but it doesn't end there. It upgrades when s joins the fight. S is the equivalent to in English, and is used to link 2 verbs together. Let's say I want to eat a sandwich. It would translate to Eu vreau să mănânc un sandwich. That's easy enough to understand, but in some cases your second verb isn't going to be so simple. When using he, she, or they, your second verb will be something completely different. Why is this? F knows. The locals don't even know. It just is what it is. Good luck conjugating. Next up, we have cases. Fortunately for other Romance languages, they did away with this system yonks ago, while Romanian still prides itself in using this in the language. How this works is a noun will change its form depending how it's used in a sentence. These terms are fancy in name, and we have 5 of them: nominative, accusative, dative, genitive, and vocative. I'll go ahead and say that the vocative case is simple, as it is used only to address someone close to you directly. Like fată, girl, that becomes făto. They mean exactly the same thing, but the rule is you should only do this to people you are very close to, unless you'd like that girl to toss Mona on your face. As for the rest of the cases, I will admit that I'm still getting the hang of them, as I'm not fully qualified to give my own example, so let's just say it's a cluster for me right now, and it's not even the least of my problems, knowing there is still a massive book waiting for me to finish reading, and I keep going back to previous chapters, because the information won't sink in. I reached a chapter in my book trying to explain all the ways you can say this, and that, and of this, and of that, and just look at this behemoth of ways you grammatically can say it, or even better, there's extra ways to say it if you're merely speaking locally. Like, what the actual is this? You know what? This. Honey? Honey, bring me the tsuika. I'm done with this shit.